Welcome back to Helen Kellen Productions. I'm Joel Kellen, and I just got back from watching two movies in the theater, one of which just came out the other day, The Little Things, starring Denzel Washington, Jared Leto, and Rami Malek. And then the other one that I saw was Dr. No, which was the first James Bond film, the first one that starred Sean Connery as well. So let's get started. First, I'm reviewing The Little Things, since I saw that one in the theaters first. It was a great detective thriller crime story overall. Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto all give terrific performances. The whole story is about how a cop from Kern County, who's played by Denzel Washington, named Joe Deacon, he teams up with a new detective in LA, played by Rami Malek, and they're trying to catch this serial killer who, in a lot of ways, is similar to like the Zodiac Killer or Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker from the 1990s, which they even mentioned the Night Stalker early on in the film. And along the way, their prime suspect is this appliance store worker who's played by Jared Leto. As I've said earlier, all of their performances are great, especially Jared Leto's. Just the way that he is like unsettling throughout the film, and the way he kind of toys with Denzel Washington and Rami Malek. Like even when in the scene where they're interrogating him at the police station, and he's basically playing a game of cat and mouse with them, and you always think for sure that he's the killer, but he never just outright confesses it. And when I was watching his performance in the theater and just seeing just how uncomfortable his presence made all the characters feel, one of the first things I thought was like, where was this performance when he was playing the Joker in Suicide Squad? Because if he brought like that kind of acting to that role, then I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have liked the movie way more. The twist at the end was really good. I do remember some reviews saying that it was that the story was similar to Seven, and I sort of agree with that, given that it's like a cop thriller. But I also think it's a little bit more deep than that, because it also kind of like gets into like Denzel Washington's head in the film. Like it really shows like what he's thinking, and giving him flashbacks to a previous case, and how like he said it himself in the film. It's like the little things that tear you apart. It's the little things that get you caught. And that was a pretty poetic line in the film's narrative. But all in all, The Little Things was a great cop thriller movie. I'd recommend seeing it in theaters, but that's because I like those detective thriller stories. So on to Dr. No, the first James Bond film, the one that kicked off the entire franchise, and the first Bond film that starred Sean Connery as Bond. This film was also pretty good. I didn't mind spending the full $10 for admission on it. So basically, it is like a run-of-the-mill story where James Bond has to go up against this one evil mastermind villain, in this case Dr. No, as he tries to take over the world. That was a more or less like bare bones plot line, but I thought it was serviceable for the film that they were trying to make. There wasn't too much action, given that the film was made in 1962. But for me, that was okay, because when there was that action, I mean, nowadays you'd look on like the fight scenes and they're laughable by comparison, especially if you've seen like the Daniel Craig James Bond films. For what it's worth, at the time it was made, it was pretty good. Sean Connery just knocked it out of the park as James Bond. A shame that we ended up losing him last year. Dr. No was a pretty good villain, even though he was a bit comical and cartoonish. The story itself, again, was bare bones. The fight scenes, okay. And if you're a James Bond fan, I definitely recommend seeing it in the theaters. If you're an action fan or just a casual fan of movies, it'll probably be better to watch it on Amazon Prime or Netflix or whatever streaming services it's on. But I will credit that movie for, I guess, officially getting me into the James Bond series. I had only seen 2 other James Bond films for this one, which were GoldenEye and The World Is Not Enough. But the only reason why I watched those films was because I played the video games on the N64. So I never really walked into it as a James Bond fan. Now that I've seen Dr. No, I think I'm gonna actually start watching the films now, including No Time to Die. I'm definitely gonna be seeing that one in the theaters whenever it comes out later this year, if it doesn't get delayed again. That's it for me. Both the movies I saw today were very enjoyable, and I would recommend both of them to be seen in theaters.